fight coming up. Luis Ortiz fighting Deontay Wilder in the rematch. What's your outlook on the rematch?
Well, Deontay has announced that he is going to be fighting Lewis in the rematch, obviously. And we're excited to get that opportunity again. Lewis will be in the best shape he can possibly get in and go in the same way that we did in the first fight, coming for him. There's no other way to beat Deontay. There's no other way to take that title from him because you're not going to really win a decision. And so at the end of the day, you got to bring the fight. And Lewis doesn't really know any other way. So I think that's what you can expect, in a second fight is a prepared Lewis who's ready to fight and who's going to.
I talked to Luis Ortiz after his defeat to Deontay, and I asked him what he would do differently in a rematch. He said he would be smarter. What does that mean?
I'm not exactly sure what smarter means, like what he would do. I mean, it's definitely going to be an exciting fight. It's definitely going to be a fight for the fans again. Deontay's the only one who's taken the chance to fight Lewis, twice. It's not a smart fight for him. I don't think so. I mean, he has an easier route, going with anyone else. But, he steps up, and everyone else that criticizes him or criticizes Lewis for, obviously, his age and whatnot, are not beating down the door to use him as an opponent. Tyson Fury could have picked Ortiz to fight. We all know what, Joshua, sort of picked Ortiz, but that never happened. It was just a name drop, like, oh, we asked Lewis to fight, but he didn't want to. You can't really say that he tried. But, he's a dangerous fighter, and he's a preserved fighter. So, it's not like he's been getting beat up for 32 fights. He has 32 fights. He's only had one tough fight, and that's with Wilder. So, if you have 30 fights, and out of those 30 fights, like Wilder, he's got 40 knockouts, so he's not beat up. We're excited. We're very excited. The whole camp is obviously, going to train and prepare for a win, as I'm sure Deontay is going to. So that's what's going to make it interesting.
For sure. Now, last thing on that rematch, I know it didn't reflect on the scorecards, but a lot of people who were watching the fight really felt that Luis was winning most of the rounds other than the times he got punched with the right hand. Is the game plan to kind of box Wilder and use some of his aggressiveness against him, counter punch, and be smart as far as maybe Luis kind of blew his wad in one of those rounds and maybe kind of be a little more patient when he gets him hurt?
Well, I'm not going to comment on the game plan, but I will tell you on the last fight that, I don't think the scorecards were at all, in really telling the story of what was happening in there. He did blow his complete wad in the 7th round and in the 8th round. So maybe that's the smarter. What he's talking about, and we've talked about that, and obviously experience is what's going to change that in the second fight, and he went through it already. So it's a smart guy like Lewis probably won't make that mistake again if it happens again. As far as the game plan, it's to be seen, to be determined, to be seen. But definitely, I don't think that the scorecards were showing what was happening, which was Deontay was getting pushed back. Deontay was getting, taken to. He was being, outpunched, 2-1. Some right hands were landing throughout, periodic. I think in the 5th round, and then again in the 9th and 10th, obviously. But that would really only put 3 rounds on the board for Deontay. Every other round, Lewis was chasing him down, and round 7 was a 10-8 round. And we didn't win one round, except maybe the 7th round. So, I don't know what that was and how, it's boxing. You have to, and he knows that. So, he's not going to try to win a boxing match. I just know from knowing how he is. He's going to try and knock him out. So, the game plan of how that gets done is what we will work on. But he's not going to try to win a boxing match because we won't win a boxing match. It's just not going to happen. There's too much money